That shot right there is by far the hardest shot I've ever worked on for the show, and I was able to do it all thanks to a piece of plastic, a marker, and 11 days of patience. So the premise of the shot was to get 30 characters on a moving one-take long shot of them all just battling it out. Now I've done similar things like this in the past, but it's always been with a static camera because adding characters to a shot where the camera was not moving is by far the easiest technique. The way I started out was actually pretty simple. First I got a clean sweeping shot of the stage, and that would act as my base so I could add characters onto that shot. From there I would add characters in individually by filming them on a blue screen or green screen modded stage and mimicking the sweeping motion of the camera as best as I can. So the first problem I faced was lining the camera up just perfectly with every character, because if you rolled the camera too much, if you zoomed it too much, if you went too fast with our sweep, it would not line up correctly and characters would start slipping and sliding off of the plate. So the way I recreated the camera movement so perfectly is where arts and crafts come in. So I took the tape and plastic bag and I put it onto my screen, creating a film so that I can now draw on it. So when you pause the game in Smash, you get a 6-point axis to show up on your screen. And with the help of that Nintendo nerd, he was able to mod it so that we can toggle this 6-point axis on or off. So I put the piece of plastic over the screen and then I marked all 6 points with a marker so that I could match up the camera just perfectly so that when I do the sweeping motion, it'll line up with the shot. Adding every character to the scene was a hugely laborious process, but as I went along and adding each individual character to the scene, it was coming together and it was looking really good. But as I was adding characters into the scene, I came into my next problem, which was far worse. Characters like Bowser, who were far in the background, had this problem where they were clipping into the foreground of the image. So this pillar and these staircases are supposed to be blocking him realistically, but because he's just a green screen element pasted onto a clean plate, he's just gonna appear like a sticker floating there. And as you can see, it's even more apparent in motion that as the camera pans forward, he's clipping through even more foreground elements that he's not supposed to, and the complete illusion just falls apart. To mitigate this problem, I turned to every editor's favorite technique, rotoscoping. Rotoscoping is essentially a technique to go through every single frame and with your mouse just cut out what you do want, what you don't want, make the project look normal. This was used in movies like Roger Rabbit to add full 2D characters into the movie Roger Rabbit. And to make it look as seamlessly as possible, they had to draw every single character 24 frames a second. But this isn't a film. This is a game. And games don't run at 24 frames a second. They run at 60 frames a second, which means for every second that this shot lasts, I had to rotoscope the foreground elements back into the shot 60 times. This task was ridiculous, and going into the shot, I knew I'd have to do this, but I think it's part of the charm of the shot because in reality, this shot is so impossible that when you see it and when it's put together, it's like, whoa, how did he do that? You know, how is that even possible? Every day after work, I would come home and just diddle, get as many frames as I possibly could, go to bed, get back to work, rinse, repeat, straight 11 days. It was a nightmare, but it was fun. But now that it's done, it's pretty cool, right?